I used to like to build things, and it got to the point where I couldn't use the skill saw right, or I couldn't swing a hammer. They had a hammer there, and I was able to grip it and actually, use a hammer for the first time in a long time. I'm always looking for stuff to help, and I remember I came across it had in the Paralyzed Veterans of America magazine, and I saw that, and I went to the website, and that same night I sent it off to my care team. You're trying to figure out how to put it on the first time and all that kind of stuff. So being able to have something that gives you back some of your function is one of those priceless things, So I like my Carbonhand. If you're looking at it and you think it might be something, I say do it. Call anybody I can think of that I thought might benefit. I call them. You gotta check this out, because it's freedom, Being able to do some of the tasks that you couldn't do before is, again, it's one of those priceless things. So I say, yeah, don't wait. If you have an opportunity to try one, you get out there and do it, because you won't regret it. So the way my hand is now, I can still move my hands. My thumb and forefinger pretty much are just there. I'm not able to pick something up like that, I couldn't cut a steak with a knife without using an adaptive knife. So one of the big things is if I have my water bottle over here, I can't get it, but now with the hand, I can reach right over there, and as long as I can get a good grab towards it, it'll close and allow me to pick it up. And before, if I was going to grab a bottle, I'd have to help push it into my hand and then put my finger under it. But if I went to tilt it back, if it's a bigger bottle, I'd have to use two hands. Now I'm back to the one hand. The biggest thing is being able to carry stuff without having to put everything down, so you can use your left hand to get, you know what I mean? So self-reliance again. So yeah, it's just the freedom and the ability to do things I haven't been able to do in a long time. Carbonhand again means freedom. Came back from Iraq in 2009. Started working at the Veterans Administration Hospital there in Seattle, charting on a patient, and then my hand started twitching. I'm like, what is going on? I just got up out of my chair, went right next door to where my doctor was. All the tests came back just normal. Sent me up to the University of Washington, one of the premier ALS doctors, and he's the one that actually gave me the true diagnosis. Talk about a gut punch. Yeah. The average lifespan somebody living with ALS is 2 to 5 years. We're pretty close to the Lake Washington, and I walked down to the lake, and I was just standing there. It was fall, and I just recall it was kind of an overcast day, and just watching the ducks fly. There were a bunch of ducks flew across the thing, and just how real it was. Sorry, again, it's one of those times where you got to experience everything, be there in the moment, because this is one of those moments where it might, you might not get it again. It might end. So, our daughter was just born. She was born in July. I was diagnosed in September. I ended up retiring from everything and staying at home, and I did exactly what they said. I stayed at home, got fat. But then I was like, I can't do this anymore. Started going to the YMCA and got back into trying to work out. And our dad was in the Navy, so when I was 2, we moved up here to Whidbey Island. There's a Whidbey Naval Air Station just north of us here. Did all my schooling up through high school here on the island. It was one of those childhoods where we could leave the house and be gone all day and be 100% safe. We spent all of our time in the woods or hiking to the beach, and we lived the dream. When I was a 9th grader, junior high, they would talk to us about ROTC, and couldn't wait for my sophomore year. I was like, oh, I'm so excited. Did my 4 years and then got out and then went straight into the Army as a combat engineer. We'd be gone for 30 days at a time, and you slept on the ground, and so it was not fun all the time. I had actually got out of the Army after I got my 4 years, and I actually went and that's where I started learning horses. I went and worked on some ranches and started a farrier business, and I was actually living in Montana when 9/11 happened. And so I actually went on my own and became a EMTB. And when 9/11 happened, of course, everybody's thinking about the country and stuff, and one day woke up and thought, I'm gonna go rejoin. There was so much patriotic spirit going on everywhere, you know? It was like, yeah, I'm gonna get back into that and be part of that. So it's probably one of the better things I've done, getting back in. So I don't know where I'd be today if I hadn't. So we ended up going to Iraq for a year, just out of a place called Camp Delta, just out of Al-Qut, Iraq. The wars started when we would travel, because we'd have to travel in uniform. People were constantly coming up and, you know, wanting to shake your hand and all that kind of stuff. So they would have lines, lines of people cheering, you know. I mean, it was just overwhelming, and you feel this sense of I get pride, you know. Plus, it was great being able to see people that would fight the traffic to get to the airport. And cheer you on and select, you know, grab your shoulder, shake your hand, give you a blanket, and see you onto the plane. So when we came back, there were people doing the same thing as we came back. You know, and that was a little bit more emotional. Coming home and having people there to hug you. As a combat medic and as a practical nurse, my first role was what we call it, you know, we had a intake area, what we called our ER. When patients would come in, we'd get them prepped for surgery. You know, one of the most stressful places I've ever been. And we just set up shop in an old building. So then once the patients went off to surgery, I would just go down the hallway to what we called our ICU, intensive care unit. And I would wait for them to come out of surgery, and then I would be there to help monitor them. And our goal was to get them out of the surgery and onto a helicopter right away. When you're in charge of your own station, man, you start wondering, you know, am I gonna be good enough? Get everybody on the helicopter, but once they were gone, we didn't know what happened. You know, they were alive when they left us. We had a few come in that didn't survive. And, you know, that tears you up. But you learn that it doesn't matter what skin color you are, or what you believe or anything. These are people that are there to help you. And of course, in the job I did, you learn that, you know, everybody has a spiritual side, and everybody, without even knowing you, they look towards you for the help, and it doesn't matter where that help comes from. Yeah, just learn who you can really count on. And, you know, Iraq is, of course, it's just sand and rock. About halfway through, they put a barbershop in there. We go, let's go get a haircut. We would go in the middle, like some days we go, you know what, let's just go get a haircut. We just had a haircut. I don't care, let's go get another one. So, and then they put in a coffee shop. Oh man, every day. Is it coffee time? Let's go get coffee. But then they shipped in Xboxes, but no TVs. So we ended up getting a TV from a guy that was leaving. We plugged that Xbox in. We're like, oh man. So between barbershop, coffee shop, and getting to play Call of Duty or Halo or Guitar Hero, that was our entertainment. I think a lot of times the Xbox saved us because we'd have casualties come in and they'd do our thing and they'd fly out because you're so pumped up. We would go back and just sit down and just start playing Xbox. It's hard to believe anybody could take anything away from my life, you know, and get something out of it. But if they were able to, don't sit down, don't give up. As long as you're able to keep going forward, then there's still hope, you know, that things are going to improve or at least make it bearable, you know. And then don't be afraid to try new things. You know, if there's something that you think might help, then go for it, try it. Between staying active, getting back into a community, I think that's the reason why I'm still the shape I am in now. the whole family has been great, stepping up and helping pitch in, especially before the Carbonhand. And having to ask for help was always tough. So having them be there and go through that with me and surviving with me is huge. So, and I love and appreciate them for that. So, yeah, they're probably really happy I got the Carbonhand now.